All right, welcome back to Awesome Games Done Quick. Once again, we are raising money for the Prevent Cancer Foundation. The Prevent Cancer Foundation is the only nonprofit in the United States that solely focuses on cancer prevention and early detection. Each year, more than 1.6 million Americans alone are diagnosed with a disease, and more than 500,000 die from the disease. However, research shows that up to 60% of cases and more than 50% of deaths are preventable with what we know now. The Prevent Cancer Foundation focuses their efforts in research, education, outreach, and advocacy with over $138 million invested over 29 years. The Prevent Cancer Foundation has funded more than 480 grants and fellowships at more than 150 different academic institutions and medical centers across the country. Some of these grants have even been funded by the money raised by Awesome Games Done Quick in the past. All right, let's talk about some of our sponsors, though. First off, we have Turtle Beach. Turtle Beach transforms your gaming world with a selection of cutting-edge technologies, creating a product that completes your high-definition gaming experience and puts you a step up on the standard headset competition. Check them out at turtlebeach.com. Also, we have Something Artistic. SomethingArtistic.net offers decals and stickers made to decorate your consoles, walls, computers, and more. $2 from every decal sold this week is being donated directly to the Prevent Cancer Foundation. You can find all their decals, including some designed just for AGDQ, over at decal.ly. Also, just a quick reminder, if you subscribe to the channel Games Done Quick and get some of those emotes, 100% of what you're doing when you subscribe is going to PCF. It is phenomenal. I highly recommend doing it. Plus, you get some awesome faces. I mean, I know you love your Frank or Z's, but come on. We have other faces, too. We have $50 from VRod302. Good entertainment, fantastic cause. $50 from ATK. You guys are awesome. Keep up the good work in raising money for causes like these. You're all the best. $50 from Rune422. This is for everyone that suffers from the loss of a loved one or is struggling to save them. We're sorry to save some who is suffering. Let's crush some records in the name of crushing cancer for good. Absolutely. I'm with you on that. $50 from Ken Addiction. My mom is a breast cancer survivor, so this hits right home for me personally. Keep up the good work. Thanks so much for doing this. We're glad your mom pulled through, man. 25 from Chief Keef. Love the stream, love the games. Keep up the good work. Team Doka. $50 from Dekedge, longtime watcher, first-time donator, watching along late at night here in Sweden. Looking forward to soon watching the destruction of my band of my younger years, Descent. Also, Pokemon Plays Twitch Part 2, please. Hashtag hype. Hype! Hype! Get that trending on Twitter, please. Thank you. Hashtag hype. $20 from Sprigister. Thanks for putting on this great event. May the RNG gods be in favor of the runners and let us use this money to come up with some new strats to fight cancer. Cheers. Thank you, man. 20 from The Fortune Teller. Never seen a blood spear before. I'm really, really impressed. Yeah, that was quite something. $50 from Josh. Donation amounts are going up fast enough. Have some money. Okay, thank you. Gosh, just thank you. Goodness.
Ready? Okay. It's not insane.
I also have some words of encouragement for you. Hey, Justice here. Just wish I was on the couch. Spooty to witness his amazing run, but things out of my control kept me from going to HDQ this year. But I'm glad we have phenomenal run to represent Descent to give the spotlight it deserves. Spooty, I hope the level 20 keybots play nice and wish you the best of luck on getting the pretty much frame-perfect 3-cycle on the last boss. Thanks for the staff, sponsors, supporters to make this event happen each and every year for a good cause. Thanks for the $50, Justice.
Okay. So, ready to start whenever? All right. 3, 2, 1. Go. So this is Descent. It's a first-person shooter made back in around 95. Was pretty much exclusively marketed as a Doom killer, but I think we all know how that turned out. Their commercials were pretty much literally them just spending 30 seconds saying, hey, look at how much better our game is than Doom. Please buy it. So, anyway, these first few levels, it's pretty much just fairly basic enemies, so I'm just going to explain the movement a little bit. So, like a lot of other early FPSs, the game doesn't have a hard-coded maximum speed for you to move at, so you're going to see me kind of slanting at weird angles a lot, and that's because I want to use movement in all 3 dimensions simultaneously to move about 60% faster. We call it tricording. So like right here, I'm using, right there I was using forward, right, and down at the same time. I'm also using a death warp there to warp back to the start. I have no more extra lives right now though, so I'm going to need to wait until I get more points to do more death warps. So basically the goal of every level is to reach the reactor, blow it up, and get out before a self-destruct sequence happens in a kind of, you know, Super Metroid-esque escape sequence. Speaking of which, show of voices, how many people here like killing the animals? Woo! Well, you're in luck because I am killing the animals every single level of this game. There are hostages in every level except for the very last one, and they're only worth bonus points, so I leave them to die in every level of the game. I think I've pretty much gone over most of the basics, so this would probably be a good time for donations.
Great, but first I'd like to mention our restreamers. If you would like to watch this in French, go to twitch.tv/official_JVCom. German, twitch.tv/Germensch Restream. In Spanish, twitch.tv/The Mexican Runner.
Pretty low on shield.
So if you guys want to be able to understand this a little better, if that's your native language, go over there. It's phenomenal. Highly recommend it. We do have a couple donations, though. 50 from Isaac Phantomus. TaskBot blew my mind. Everything's been awesome. Keep going. 25 from Tizona. Second year watching AGDQ. Enjoyed it last year. Keep it up, guys. And then 40 from Christopher. Love what you're all doing. Keep fighting the good fight. Thank you.
Something that's worth adding is that the reactor has increasing health every level, so it's going to take a little damage every time. So that was the end of the Moon levels. We're on to the Venus levels. The Venus levels introduce a new type of enemy, and it introduces them in mass, called they're basic lifters, these green guys with the claws. As you can guess by their bloody-looking claws, their sole purpose in life is to ruin my ship's paint job. So I want to avoid them if at all possible, because their AI is going to have them flying at me and trying to block my path constantly. Grabbing a new primary weapon there, the Spreadfire Cannon. The Spreadfire Cannon gets a lot of hate from veteran Descent players because it's utterly ineffective at long range, and its alternating vertical and horizontal line shot makes it kind of hard to aim consistently, but regardless, at close range, it massively outclasses basic dual lasers in terms of damage, so I'm going to be running with this for a little while. In a little bit, I'm also going to be picking up some of the new secondary weapons as well. There's a cloaked enemy there, blocking me. Proximity mines, which do exactly what they say on the tin, and homing missiles, which also do exactly what they say on the tin. Homing missiles also do a little bit more damage than the basic dumbfire concussion missiles, so that's a nice little convenient thing. But yeah, the way these lifters behave is fairly random, so you can find yourself losing anywhere from just a couple seconds to like nearly 30 seconds, or in extreme cases even dying. Dropped a couple proximity mines here to try and keep the way back out of the reactor room clear safely. Missed that. Gonna try and get a spawn block here. Didn't quite get it. I got the spawn block of it on the wrong one. If an enemy is blocking one of those mat sends, those spawn points, it won't spawn its current enemy. You can actually body block with yourself, but it does a slight amount of damage to you when you do that. Getting stuck here. That's a little bit of that RNG I was talking about with the lifter movement. Right there, I get the Vulcan Cannon, a new primary weapon. Unlike the other primary weapons, it uses a physical ammunition stash instead of the ship's energy reserves. Those 2 kills you saw right there are the only 2 kills you're going to see with it, despite the fact that it will be one of the most used primary weapons in the game. It's a pseudo hit scan weapon. It shoots very fast moving invisible projectiles. Its main application isn't so much as a weapon, but as a glorified door opener. The very fast nature of its projectiles allow me to open doors from long distances away and keep me from getting hung up on half-open doors. That Sega Saturn logo I picked up back there is an invulnerability power-up. Does exactly what you would guess. A lot of the routing involves just using them to get getting as much mileage as you can just to power through the level, like I did with the reactor room there. So that's the end of the Venus levels. Now we're on to the Mercury levels, which introduce the 2 worst enemies in the game. The first one, which you'll be seeing in a little bit, is the Light Driller. Light Drillers get the Vulcan Cannon that I just picked up last level. And so as you would guess, their attacks are very hard to avoid, and the damage from them racks up very quickly. But thankfully they have relatively low shields, which means a single homing missile will take them down, which, like, I'll be killing a lot like that just by lobbing homing missiles around corners. There's a really tough trick coming up here. I'm going to grab that. To grab the red key without the need for any extra power-ups, it requires a nearly perfect trichord to do. So I'm going to have to focus on that. And I'm also going to save right before it, just in case. Here it comes. Got it. Yeah, that room has booby traps that open up and reveal a few of those light drillers. If you don't move perfectly, you get your shield just obliterated in seconds. And for a second there, you saw the other worst enemy in the game, the Red Hulks. Red Hulks have a huge shield stash compared to every other enemy except for the Fusion Hulks, which are very endgame enemies and bosses. And they also shoot homing missiles, which do over 20 damage on hit and are obviously very hard to avoid. So, understandably, they are one of the most troublesome enemies in the game. Something I'm going to be doing up here is another Death Warp. I did back in levels 1 and 2. The thing about Death Warping is you drop all of your items, all of your currently held weapons on death. So, say goodbye to the Spread Fire Cannon for now. But it's okay because I'll be picking up the Quad Laser upgrade soon, which is actually better. Gonna do another Death Warp right here after getting Red Key. I'm out of lives again, so gotta keep myself alive now until I get enough points for another life. Coming up is the first boss out of 2 bosses in the game. The boss teleports to a random location every time he gets hit, and he can either teleport completely away from you and waste time, or he can pretty much teleport on top of you and instantly obliterate you. That's a good start. His AI hasn't gone active yet, so he's in his default starting position. I think he's this way. It's kind of hard to tell. Yeah, there he is. Ideally, he'll go down in 3 cycles. The arena is also full of light drillers and red hulks, so I have to be worrying about that. He's dead. I want to grab some homing missiles for the next level on the way out. And done. So now we're on to the Mars levels. This first level is a little risky due to a few light drillers, but isn't too bad overall. In most cases. Sometimes it gives me trouble. Gonna take out a couple more safely with homing missiles there and then move on. As I've mentioned before, much of this game's routing is completely revolving around light drillers and managing them. Whoa, that was some really slick dodging there. Okay.
I do have a special donation for you if you have time for it.
Yeah, go ahead.
Great, so I have $500 from the Skype crew. Hey, Spooty, the Rhythm Gaming community wishes you the best of luck on your run. The marathon is doing great things for a lot of people, and we're hyped to see you be part of it. Spooty's choice for the donation.
Killing the animals.
Look at that.
So, right back there, that purple orb I picked up was a cloaking device. Cloaking devices make you fully invisible to enemies, but that only stands as long as you don't crash into anything or shoot anything. But it's still, doing so only reveals your position at that exact moment, so it still makes a lot of these fights much easier to be cloaked. Gonna grab an invulnerability over here. Ah, Blister's blocking me. Oh, and the door came up. Oh, he went back down. Okay. I'm gonna load. Unfortunately, that's a lot of bad RNG from the lifter bots. Those red bots with the 4 claws, they're melee enemies, so they just try to block you. And of course, I load, and immediately there's absolutely none of them in sight, naturally. Marathon luck. Okay, so that's the end of the first Mars level. It's a pretty smooth escape. Kind of wish I had that the first time. Alright, so this level has a bit of RNG right at the beginning. I'm going to kill a cloaked lifter, and I really want a cloaked device drop, and I didn't get one. That's going to make this level a little harder. Something to note that is why a cloak helps out a lot is there's one of the new enemies introduced in Mars are these red guys right here with the 1 claw and the laser, called secondary lifters. They have one of the most aggressive AI patterns in the game. They will chase you for miles. They're not too dangerous, but it's really it gets really annoying when they block you constantly. So having the cloak helps keep them off your tail. But I didn't get one. Thankfully, though, there's a static cloak pickup right over here. But the fact that I had to do the first portion of this level without a cloak means they're going to be spread all over the level and might get in my way. Okay, good enemy movement there. None of them got in my way on the way out. Okay, so we're coming up on the last Mars level here. Quad lasers are great and they've served us well, but their time is coming to an end for now. Because we're getting the best primary weapon in the game, the grape juice gun, aka the fusion cannon. The fusion cannon, unlike the other primary weapons, is a charge and shoot weapon instead of an automatic weapon. It has the highest damage output of any primary weapon. And more importantly, it pierces through multiple enemies, so it can clear out entire rooms almost instantly. The downsides, though, are that it shakes your ship randomly, like completely randomly, while you're charging it. And if you charge it enough, it actually starts to overheat and you do damage to yourself while you're holding the charge. In order to drop some enemies in one shot, we actually need to go well into the overheat range. So it can be pretty dangerous to use if you're not careful about it. Grabbing a cloak here to make this section a lot smoother. Other thing to note about the fusion cannon is it has absolutely huge hitboxes on its projectiles, and if those projectiles come into contact with any sort of map geometry, any walls or ceilings, the projectile will come to an instant stop. Whoa, hey. So combine that with the random shaking, and in narrow hallways, it's really hard to use. I grabbed invulnerability back there for a special strat for the reactor room coming up here. Come on. I'm being a little slow though, so I'm a little worried I'm not going to have time. We'll see. I'm going to push this Red Hulk out just by bumping him. Drop the reactor in one shot, and get out before invulnerability runs out. Whew, that was close. And that's the end of Mars. So now we got the Jupiter levels, which are probably the hardest levels in the game. This level has a lot of lava, and the thing about lava is any projectile that hits it causes literal splash damage. It splashes the lava up and will damage you if you're near it. So even if you think you've dodged shots, if they're hitting the floor near you, then you need to think again. I grabbed a cloak early on. I thankfully got a cloak drop from a random cloak drop from an enemy. That makes this level a lot easier. I just shoot the wall after picking up the key to redirect all of their shots towards that point. Since I'm cloaked, they'll all just think I'm there as I just leave. I'm gonna grab an extra shield here just for safety. Okay, should be good on this level now. This reactor room has these new mine-laying enemies that are kind of camouflaged, but honestly, they're really easy to spot out. But you got to be careful that you don't accidentally crash into any mines. Oh, I'm still a little damage short. That should do it. Mines do a good amount of damage, so not something you really want to be doing. Something else I haven't mentioned is that during self-destruct, the level shakes uncontrollably, which makes optimized movement really hard during... Okay, so this level, I want to do more death warps, but I don't want to give up my, my awesome fusion cannon. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to grab this cloak here first because my shield's kind of low, is I'm actually going to just suicide coming up here. Right here in front of the red door. Not so much to warp, but just to drop my good weapons there so I can pick them up later. Thankfully, there's a lot of good pickups on the way to the next couple keys that will make powering through the rest of the level fairly easy. Picked up some smart and mega missiles as well as a spread fire cannon. Smart missile's going to help me clear this guy. Use homing missiles to clear out the heavy driller here. Heavy drillers are ironically a lot easier to deal with than light drillers. They have plasma cannons, which, speaking of which, plasma cannon is the one primary weapon you will not see me using in this run. So if you're a fan of the plasma cannon, hate to break it to you. So now I just grab my gear again, since it's right in front of the reactor room, and leave. Okay, so level 13 is the Europa mining colony and is arguably the hardest level in the game. It's definitely the longest level in the run, at least. So I'm gonna need some serious time here. I'm gonna be grabbing a cloak coming up here, and I'm gonna try and take out as many Red Hulks with it active as I can, because there are a lot of them. Come on. Okay, I'm kind of low on shields, so I'm going to have to be a little careful here. I'm going to save right here. Gonna use a Mega Missile up here. This small room up ahead has 2 light drillers and a Red Hulk. I don't want to fight those directly, so yeah. Unfortunately, I didn't do enough damage to the Red Hulk. Okay, there we go. I'm really low on shield, but thankfully there's a secret room up ahead that has some extra for me. Right there. Oh, I forgot to clear that guy. I don't think I killed this guy. I didn't. Okay, got him. That hallway is pretty hard to get a good fusion shot down. It's kind of hard to see here, but the floor and the ceiling kind of wave a little bit in there, like they aren't completely flat. Okay, so coming up here is a really tough reactor shot. There's a weird S-bend hallway that makes it hard to get fusion shots through without clipping the floor or ceiling. I'm also kind of low on shield, so hopefully I'm gonna get this. Oh, there's a homing on my tail. Oh. Oh. Man, I couldn't have escaped it that first time, could I? That would have made this a lot simpler. I'm just gonna play it safe. I'm gonna clear this room out. Okay. Oh, this is not going well. Okay, nothing's on my tail. I'm out of here now. That was really sloppy, but at least the hardest level in the game is pretty much out of the way now. Gonna save here just in case these guys troll me. Whew, okay, that's over with. Okay, so I'm gonna do another gear deposit here. What? How did you not die? Oh, you need to die now. I'm actually going to take the safer route here and only do the 1 warp. Grab an invulnerability there from that surveyor bot. My shields are kind of low again, so hopefully this part goes well. Gonna use a smart missile to hopefully clear out any dangerous enemies here. Yeah, I was hoping for a cloak drop there to make this next part safer, but oh, that's not good. Okay, got more shields this time. There we go. So grab the red key and warp back to the start. it's a long flight back to the start of the level from there, so Death Warp is very much preferable. Got that cloak, which is a nice little convenience. Makes this reactor shot a little less dangerous because there's 4 red Hulks in front of it. Okay, and that's the end of the Jupiter levels, which is a big relief for me. Now we're on to the Saturn levels, which are a good deal easier. This is a good time for some donation comments.
Alrighty. We have another $103.62 from the Skype crew. Here's some more donations that came in after our initial donation. Keep that donation train rolling. Put it towards saving the animals. Quote unquote, get wrecked, nerd.
Wow, rude.
Shots fired. $5 from Highfire saying, Spooty, glad to see you at AGDQ. NIU D2 is behind you. Let's kick cancer to the curb.
Thanks.
$50 from Fran saying, stoked to see Descent. It's one of my all-time favorite games. Sad there are not more games in this genre. Thanks for the event and keep supporting a good cause. Thank you, Franz.
Gonna grab a Mega Missile here for a little down the road. I'm gonna want it in level 20.
Got $150 from Crystal, who says, from me and my puppy, lots of love for everyone that can help with this cause. Both of my grandfathers have been diagnosed with cancer, one deceased by heart cancer, and the other still fighting skin cancer. May this help other kids keep their granddaddies. Thank you, Crystal, and my condolences for your loss. $25 from Andrew Armstrong says, cancer can take a hike.
Got another reactor quick kill strategy here, a lot like what I did back in level 10. Just gonna grab one vulnerability, bump these guys around, and one-shot the reactor. It's also worth noting that that is the last level in which you can one-shot the reactor with a single fusion shot. I've explained before that reactors have increasing health every level. The fusion cannon, despite the fact that you can charge it indefinitely and that the shaking will increase indefinitely, it does have a hard damage cap, and the level 15 reactor's health is pretty much right at it. That said, there's still a quick kill strategy for this level that involves a max charged fusion shot and one concussion missile. But it takes a little bit of luck to set up because of the enemies around it, so hopefully I'll get it. Ooh, I really don't want that cloaking device, actually. The thing about cloaking devices and vulnerabilities is that when you have one active, you cannot pick up another one. So you are locked into that cloak expiration time basically until it wears off and you pick up a new one. So I want one that'll last me pretty much to the end of the level, so picking up that one would not have done that, and it would have been pretty bad. Okay, here comes the quick kill attempt. And I missed the shot, damn it. Oh well. One of the two projectiles hit, and that's enough to put it in range where I just need to bop it one more time. Okay, so this is the last of the Saturn levels. This introduces the Gopher bot, which you just saw in front of me right there. It's a dedicated mine-laying bot. The annoying trait of it is that it has a pretty bulky amount of health for its low point value, and it has the movement behavior that forces it to move in the dead center of any hallways it's traveling down. So if you're stuck behind one, it can be a bit of a nuisance. You can probably read more donation comments. There's nothing particularly interesting about this level.
You were talking all about kinds of quick kills and stuff. I was like, does he need serious time or?
And this one, I get carried by cloaks and invulnerabilities pretty much the whole level.
All right,
so.
well, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to talk about a couple of bids we've got coming up. We were lucky enough to get the BattleBlock Theater donation incentive met, so they will be playing the secret stages, and we'll all get to bathe in the wonderfulness of that music. Soon after that, we'll have the Metal Slug Advanced bid war. Right now, you get to choose either Tyra or Walter. Tyra is in the lead with $174. To Walter is $126. So it's not going to take a whole lot of donations to snipe Walter as the active player there. And right after that, oh well, not right after that, but the next donation incentive we have after that with Battletoads, that was met. So then we're into the River City Ransom bid war. And right now, people really want to save the girlfriend. It has $810, whereas Don't Save the Girlfriend has $267. So if y'all want to leave your girlfriends behind, you better start paying for it.
So that was the last of the Saturn levels. Now we're on to the Uranus levels. Starting off with another Death Warp level right here. So I'm going to start shooting some missiles in my face to soften myself up a bit so that I can die right here where I want to. The yellow key is a lot closer to the start than it is to the blue key. Yeah, right there, saw a little bit of what I was talking about with the secondary lifters having extremely aggressive behavior. Those two chased me from like 3 rooms back. A little damage short. I must have missed with one of the projectiles. I must have missed with all the projectiles. Okay, there we go. Yeah, this level adds the missile platformer with missile platform bots. That little green thing I just killed back there. They just fire basic concussion missiles, but do so in much larger bursts than the normal missile hulks. So they're pretty dangerous. Oh, shield drop, that's a big help. Pretty low shields, I might die going for this reactor kill, we'll see. Yeah, that's fine, it's just a straight shot down from the spawn point. It's only a few seconds. Just gonna grab this cloak to make picking up my gear easy. Okay, so coming up next we have the most RNG level in the game. It's a gimmick level where all of the keys are held by enemies instead of in static spawn points. And oh, there's a good start. The blue keybot just flew right in front of my face. So the starting positions for the keybots are static, but their movement patterns are not, and they're random. So hopefully I can get all of them without too much trouble. There's the yellow one. The red one is the hardest one, though. Gonna grab some safety shields there. That's exactly where I don't want to see him going. And I rammed him to death. That works too. Yeah, it's worth noting that collisions actually do a little bit of damage in this game. Oh, I must have missed my Mega Missile when I reclaimed my gear. That's going to make this a little interesting. Okay. I'm going to move back and save my game really quick. Missile platform might kill me. Nope, he wasn't there. Good. Okay, that was a pretty good level 20. If the red keybot refuses to cooperate, you can waste like nearly a full minute on that level, so. This level's pretty straightforward, so feel free to read some donation comments.
Alrighty. Yuddy sends us $30. Says, greetings from Ireland. Loving AGDQ as always and can't think of a better reason to stay up all night or a better reason to donate. Let's send cancer into the abyss. We have $20 from Swiveling Toast. Both my parents are cancer survivors, so this really hits home. Descent is the first 3D game I ever played and it got me into gaming. Glad to see it get torn apart. Go fast. I hope we are going fast enough for you through Descent, so. We have $31.40 from Kunal, who says, love what you guys did with Pokemon Red, and I love what you guys are doing. I love how much everyone is involved. I love you all. Why, thank you, Kunal.
Okay, kind of a bit of a weird door puzzle here where you have to fly into these rooms and fly over a bunch of triggers to get the reactor exposed, like that. Alright, so now we're on to the Neptune levels. We're going to start with another suicide to store some gear. We got a couple really tricky dodges on homing missiles coming up here. Hopefully it'll go well, or I might end up taking an extra death. Okay, that went well. One more. It's on my tail. Come on. Lost him. Yes, that was perfect.
Good job.
I took no damage from any of those homing missiles, which is going to make the rest of this level smooth sailing, in theory. We'll see if it...
Famous last word.
Okay, so we got this really long winding tower up here, which is why I stored my gear earlier, because we don't want to have to backtrack down this. Thankfully, I picked up a cloak near the red or the yellow key, so I don't have to worry about those drillers shooting me through those windows. Okay, coming up from here, we got the loudest room in the game, so if you're wearing headphones, you may want to turn down the volume a bit. That room has about 8 light drillers by default, and also mat sends that spawn additional light drillers. So you just get deafened by this infernal shrieking as soon as you enter the room. It's kind of the worst.
RIP headphone user. Okay,
so this level introduces the final common enemy of the game, the Fusion Hulk. As the name implies, they have fusion cannons, which are not something you want to be up against. Fusion cannons, if they hit you, do over 60 damage to your shields. It's the single most damaging thing you can take other than from bosses, so I'm going to go out of my way to avoid fighting them if at all possible. Actually going to take some extra shield here. Thankfully, for most of my encounters with them in the game, I'm either cloaked or invulnerable, so it saves them from being the worst enemy in the game. That honor still goes to light drillers. Proximity mines are going to get a little more mileage here because there's some trapdoors with light doors in them, so I'm going to just drop a mine in front of them to keep them from roaming around and causing me trouble later. That cloaking device is especially important because this red key room has multiple red hulks and drillers, and they start roaming around the time that you get there, so being invisible for that room is pretty much mandatory. Gonna pick up some extra shields up here. Oh, got an extra drop too. This reactor room coming up has a lot of dangerous enemies. There's red hulks and fusion hulks. Hopefully the fusion hulks will still be further behind and won't be a problem, but if they've moved up, which one of them has, I need to play this room safe now. I also kind of want to clear the red hulk from behind me so I don't have to worry about him. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to just kind of do this poking strategy. Okay, there we go. Yeah, the default positions for those fusion hulks are behind the reactor, so normally they're not a problem, but one of them roamed way forward, so I had to play that reactor room really safe. Because again, they fire they fire 2 shots in a row, so if I eat both of those shots, I'm pretty much instantly dead. Because my shields are almost never well above 100. Got another fusion hulk up here, but I'm invulnerable for it, so it's not really much to worry about. This level's a big maze of concentric circles, but since I know where I'm going, it's actually one of the shorter levels in the game. Thankfully, I have a cloak for this room because this room is full of red hulks, but obviously being cloaked completely prevents homing missiles from locking onto you. So we're in the final stretch of the game now. These are the Pluto levels. So we're going back to a time when Pluto was still a planet. Moment of silence for Pluto, please. He may no longer be number 9 in the solar system, but he's still number 1 in our hearts. So this level's not too dangerous as far as enemy composition goes, but right before the red key, there's a hallway with a very narrow ceiling. And as I've mentioned before, fusion cannons don't really like narrow rooms. So getting a good fusion shot off in that room is pretty tough. If I have problems getting to it, I might just switch to lasers. Here it comes. Okay, that worked, I guess. Ow. Okay. That's really low. I'm going to grab this safety cloak. And probably still going to die anyway. If I do, that's okay, though. That shot was totally unnecessary and probably really stupid of me, but I couldn't resist. Thankfully, even though I'm at 4 shields, that invulnerability I just picked up is going to carry me through the rest of the level, so there's nothing left to worry about. Oh, okay, that missile did it. Okay, so we're almost to the end of the level. This is coming up as the second to last level. There's going to be one last set of death warps here. First to store my gear over here. Because the blue key is very far out of the way. Okay, and we got the blue key, so we're just going to suicide right back to the start. The rest of this level, I'm going to spend most of the time being carried by cloaks and invulnerabilities again. So the funny thing is that invulnerability right there is completely unavoidable, which is actually kind of a shame because this yellow key pickup right up here would be an ideal point for another Death Warp, but because I'm forced to pick up an invulnerability, even though I want to kill myself here, I'm not allowed to. The game will not allow it. Gonna be picking up some hidden Mega Missiles in here for the final boss. The rest of this level's pretty straightforward. If you got any donations, comments.
Alrighty, I've got one or two here. Telepron merely asks us the question, do you want to party? Do we want to party, AGDQ? Apparently we do.
Okay.
Okay. Thor sends us $25 saying, greetings from your second biggest fan in Norway. I know this guy, you know. Thank you for doing this every year. You guys rock. Thank you, Thor.
All right, so we're going into the final level here. The final level is actually pretty short, and again, you get carried by invulnerabilities and cloaks for most of it. So I'm just going to explain the final boss. The final boss works a lot like the first one. He teleports whenever he takes damage, but unlike the first boss, he only has 4 possible locations he can move to. So it makes him a lot more predictable. The problem is, though, that he can spawn random common enemies, and homing and Mega Missiles will not lock onto bosses. So they will lock onto common enemies and basically draw fire away from the boss in that way, which is something I want to avoid. Ideally, I would get a 3 cycle on the boss, but if there's lots of common enemies, there's a good chance that's not going to happen, because I need almost all of my Mega Missiles to hit him directly. Okay, so final boss is coming up. Be ready on time. Oh, geez, that's a lot of enemies. Okay, I saved right before that room for a reason. I actually really want to load. Jesus, come on. If you die with more than 3 Smart or Mega Missiles, you just lose the excess past 3. So I'm actually, I'm just going to take the safer invulnerability up here. It wastes a little time to grab it, but with all those, I got unlucky and it spawned a lot of light drillers randomly, so it's pretty hard for me to get in there without getting killed. Okay, so yeah, as you can see, Mega Missiles are going away towards other common enemies, so this is going to be a pretty slow fight. I need to find my quad lasers again. Where did my quad lasers go? There they are. I don't want fusion. It's really hard to, with the speaker setup, it's really hard for me to tell where exactly the boss is. It's easier when I have headphones. Got turned around there. There's an extra invulnerability this way. This is an absolutely abysmal boss fight, but okay, there, he's down. Ready on time? As soon as I enter this door. Time. Oh, jeez. Well, that didn't go nearly as well as I was hoping, but at least it was below 50. But So that's Descent. You know, run didn't quite go as well as I was hoping, but I hope you enjoyed the show. Someone give me a cool saying for my first place score.
That's never happened before.
Yeah, sure.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it for SpootyBiscuit. We're going to go ahead and take a quick commercial break for those of you on the Twitch chat, and we will see you on the other side. Hey, PJ, Mecca, what's your runner's choice? Welcome back to those on the Twitch chat. Speaking of Twitch, just letting you guys know, if you do subscribe to our Twitch channel this week, 100% of the proceeds from that does go to the Prevent Cancer Foundation. I'm going to try and get through a few more donations here while we are setting up for BATTLEBLOCK Theater. TC3 sends $10 and says, Descent hype, kick cancer's ass. Hype. $25 from Dark Star Sword, who says, first time donating to AGDQ. Started watching the replays on YouTube last year and have been looking forward to this event. Let's break cancer as much as you guys are breaking these games. $50 from Lanros, who says, thank you for doing this. This is actually the first year I've been able to donate. Thank you very much, Lanyos. Teletac sends $50 and says, I want to thank everybody at AGDQ for putting together another wonderful event. Here's to our donations tackling an issue that has affected many of us, our families and our friends so personally. Anything to help understand, treat and prevent cancer will certainly help us live happier and healthier lives. Thank you again for holding such an entertaining experience for a good cause. And I look forward to more great runs this marathon. Jason5 gives us another $50 and says, for my friend Jenna, her dad was just diagnosed with lung cancer. My condolences, Jenna. While we're getting set up here, if you guys want to take a trip on over to humblebundle.com, you can check out the special Humble Bundle we've got going for AGDQ. It's right there on the front page. Nothing to miss. You get 9 games, you get yourself a subscription to XSplit, you get yourself a Twitch Turbo subscription, you get a bunch of exclusive merchandise from some of our other sponsors like the Yeti and Something Artful, Something Artistic. You also get a cool game called Speedrunners that's made by another one of our sponsors, TinyBuild, who are an indie developer and he kind of morphed and became an indie publisher. They partner up with indies all across the world and they work together to make games better and make their own games as well. Go ahead and check them out over at tinybuild.com. The Yeti you can check out at theyeti.com/ADGDQ. They've been doing t-shirts for us for quite a while now. $3 from every t-shirt sold this week does go towards the Prevent Cancer Foundation. There is a new design on the Yeti every 24 hours. and somethingartistic.net is offering decals and stickers that you can use to decorate many of our various computers or cabinets or your walls. Your dog, I don't know. $2 from every decal sold this month, this week even. That would be a better word. We'll go to the Prevent Cancer Foundation, and their decals you can find at decal.ly. That's decal.ly. And before we get too deep into this, let me plug our restreams. We have our French restream, twitch.tv/officiel.jv_jvcom. That's OFFICIEL_JVCOM. Our German restream is happening at twitch.tv/germentrestream. GERMANCHRESTREAM. And our Spanish restream is happening at twitch.tv/themexicanrunner, which is THEMEXICANRUNNNER. It's a great place to go if this isn't your natural language. I just looked up and the entire play area has changed. What did you do? Let's get back to some more donations, shall we? We have $25 from PooTrain14 who says, big love to PJ and Mecha Richter. Please don't break anything too bad. I'll assure you that will never happen. We have $10 from Robin, who says, a small donation for a big cause. We hope cancer will stay in the past. Keep up the good work and geek away. Best wishes from Sweden. Thank you, Robin. And you do make an excellent point. I've been saying this all day, especially during the F-Zero block. It's not all about the size of your donation. It's the fact that you're donating. Any money at all can make a difference. And if you can't donate, please don't feel guilty. Use the hashtag AGDQ2015. Share us on social media. Put us out there on Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr, Instagram, whatever. Because if you can't donate, someone might click that link that can. And they'll come in and they might make a donation and you will have made a difference. We have been absolutely humbled by the amount of donations we've received so far. I cannot wait for for what's going to be happening here. While we got a second, I'm going to look into some bid wars we've got down the road. The one everyone wants to talk about, let's be honest, is Super Metroid. Right? Alright, so far, Save the Animals is sitting on $9,577, and Kill the Animals is sitting on $8,974. So if you want to kill the animals, get to donating. I will also remind you guys that thanks to the Yeti and one of the big donations, the best ending incentive for Gimmick was met. However, the community bonus game block afterwards, it's still languishing behind a little bit. It's at $742 out of 2,000, and there is a whole lot of games in there that you're going to want to be seeing. So go ahead and get your donations in for that if you want to see people like Kurt Q, Blecky, and others. $100 from Shadow Killer 4826, who says, I am so excited for BattleBlock Theater. I take this money, I'd like this money to go, I actually don't think PJ will do this, but he'd like this money to go to Mecca using MV. I'm not sure about that one, so. We got $50 from Ekdar123 who says, I don't know what a Boshi is, but I want to be it. And if I'm going to be the Boshi, I want to be him 100%. Thank you, Ekdar. $20 from Heinrich, who says, hello there, I just want to say that I love you, what you guys are doing, and I want to thank all of the people involved in making this possible. My life has been highly influenced by cancer, and I'm extremely grateful for what you guys are doing to beat cancer's butt. Thank you, Heinrich. Alex W9 says, lots of respect for all you great runners coming together this year, year after year, to do this amazing event for such a fantastic cause. Loving all the runs so far. Very excited for BATTLEBLOCK. Thank you, Alex. Zetater, who sends us $100 and just says, love the stream, keep up the good work. I assure you we shall for as long as we can. $50 from Matt Livingston. In memory of Sandra Livingston, I lost my mother to cancer last year. Descent was one of my favorite games of the early days. Thank you, Matt. Like the calm before the storm in here. Just going to talk quickly about a generous donation that we've received as a prize. Pinball Joe has actually donated a Swords of Fury pinball machine as a grand prize for AGDQ 2015. It's actually a chance to own your very own pinball machine at home and help the charity all at the same time. It has a minimum bid of $50, but if you donate 4 times, you can get entered into the pool at least 4 times. Pinball Joe has actually provided pinball machines here at AGDQ for people to play. And throughout the marathon, you can watch us try and speedrun pinball over at pinballdonequick.com. That's pretty fantastic. And speaking of people who've been providing things for us here at AGDQ, I want to give a big shout out to World9 Gaming, who have been helping us with the practice room here. These guys have been absolutely fantastic. They're preeminent experts. They cover events all over the Midwest. They have a very dedicated staff. They have all kind of expertise with tournaments. They have expansion. And you can check them out at World9 Gaming. That's World9, number 9, gaming.com. I'm beginning to think Broman and T-Rex don't actually need microphones. A perfect fit for Broman. All right, Tyler sends $100 and says, "Boo cancer, hooray video games."